You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now I hear me.
Okay, now I hear me too.
That's what I say when I'm at bed talking to myself too. I'm like, oh wait, now I hear me. Wait, did I say that? Do I like this? Do I not?
Was
like
that an inside voice or an outside voice?
It was an outside voice. I always talk to myself outside voice.
And you realize that you are?
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes I talk out loud and then people next to me are going, do you know that you just said that out loud? Did I really?
You
Yeah.
just run with it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I just always do it. Because, see, you sometimes do it and then don't always do it. And then what's going to happen is one of these times you're going to think you're saying something inside your head and then you're going to say it out loud and it's going to be an insult. So, see, as you know me, I just say it out loud all the time.
I
And then I
know.
don't have to worry.
I know. Which
So, see?
I've now learned to not take it personally.
Right. It's
I will
just
say
me
this.
saying out loud exactly what I think. And there's absolutely nothing wrong
Did
with
you
that.
see that I tagged you yesterday in an open call, casting call?
I did, and I was afraid to put which one you thought I was, so I was like, I'm just ignoring this. I was actually swamped at work, so I saw it, but I didn't have
It was
time to
the,
read through them.
It was the straightforward attitude lady.
Oh, there wasn't like a sassy bitch one? That wasn't an
No.
option?
Yeah, it was kind of, the underlying was that.
Oh, they just
Yeah,
didn't
I
use
was-
the bad word?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, gotcha.
But Michelle always does it from a place of love.
Exactly.
I'm going to be a... Did I say that out loud?
No, you stopped yourself.
Well, today we are going to talk about bullying. And we've got two great guests that are in studio with us that have personal stories and stories of close friends, and they're going to share those stories with us. We actually have Miss Arizona United States, Jessica Ward, in studio, and we have Shane Peter in studio, who is a friend of mine from high school, and they both got great stories. But first, we got to do the WWW.
We
And
do.
for those of you that don't know, that is not the World Wide Web. That is where Michelle goes out and she finds the stories that are wild, wonderful, and weird. And then we talk about them. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. And that's the whole premise of No Limits Radio Show, is that, you know, it's having conversations without limits, and we may not be on the same page, which I think one of the stories we might not be on the same page.
We might not.
All right.
All right, so what do we got?
What do you
I'll
got?
bully you into my opinion, so it's okay.
I'm sure you will.
So it's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It's all going to work out in the
I'm
end.
going to tell you what your right answer is.
That's right. So you're free to say what you want. Then I'll let you know that it's wrong. Okay. So anyway, we'll start out with the wonderful. So I thought this was a cute story. There is a grandmother, mother, and granddaughter who all have the same birthday. And I think that's wonderful.
Do they have
It's
the
in
same
New
birthday
Mexico.
by a fluke, or was this planned?
No, it's an absolute fluke. So on, what is the day? It is the 29th. So on June 29th, 1962, okay, this woman named Luna, and I think her last name, it's different than the daughter's name because now she's married, she gave birth to her daughter, Lorraine, exactly 9 months after getting married and 10 days earlier than her due date. So it happened to be her birthday. Then her daughter, just this last month, had their daughter on her birthday, and she wasn't even thinking about it until they were driving to the hospital, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my birthday!" And wait, it's my mom's birthday, and she was gonna have the baby. So they
And
all have the exact same.
Was the daughter, the most recent birth,
So the granddaughter.
the granddaughter, was
Mhm.
that early as well, or was that the expected due date?
No, that was early.
That was early.
That was early,
Okay.
but only by like a couple days. I mean,
Okay.
she knew she was ready to pop any day now.
Right.
So, but now I don't know if they planned when they were having sex so that could happen. But anyway, that I think is pretty odd. and I think it's pretty
is that a
wonderful.
bad word?
Well, today it kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I have all these like little people here,
Yeah.
so I'm like, well,
Yeah.
just so you know, kids, I often say shit, bitch,
Oh boy.
all that stuff. So put your little ear muffins on if you haven't heard them
Ear
before.
muffins.
I'm sorry. Little
Fortunately,
earmuffs.
we don't have FCC regulations
That's right.
yet.
I'm so glad. The day we do, No Limits will be no more. Because Michelle will no longer be the host. So,
Because every other
anyway.
word would be bleep, 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 dump button, dump button. I think that is definitely a wonderful story.
it is.
And the odds of that,
Oh,
1 in 130,000?
yeah.
It was funny because as I was reading that story, my first thought was, wow, they should go buy a lottery ticket. And then the next thing was, and the odds of winning that are greater than winning the lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
So, where
So
the
to
lottery
have
is like
3.
1 in a million, I think.
Mm-hmm.
100,000 million. Yeah.
And this, yeah.
Yeah.
You almost got it.
Yeah.
For those of you watching, Christina did the circle. So 1, 2, 3,
100,000.
comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. So anyway. All right, so let's not talk about the one I know we're going to debate on. So let's talk about this one. Okay, it's kind of, okay, it's not funny. Let me just premise this by saying.
After you
this
giggle, you giggle and you say, it's not funny, guys.
I know. It's not funny. However, this is a lesson that people should learn, that we have testing facilities for a reason, and they use dummies for these type of things, not real people.
I think somebody used a dummy.
However, a Maryland man is now facing murder charges after accidentally shooting his friend while testing out a bulletproof vest. They apparently videoed it, and he took a .22 caliber out and aimed it at his friend with the bulletproof vest
When
on.
they were,
And he, unfortunately, also you should be probably a marksman if you're going to do this also. However, he shot a little higher up than the vest goes, so
Wow.
he killed him.
I was gonna say, was the vest? Did they create the vest, or was it already like just like a purchase?
No,
Like,
it
let's
was,
try it out.
It
guys.
was a professionally made.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just like, let's try it.
Let's
Yeah.
just try it and make sure that it made it through the dummy-proof test
Well,
and it really works.
I like to call that natural selection.
Wow.
That's a Darwin Award winner.
Yep.
Well, they say everyone's time is your time, so maybe. However, I'm going to try to live a little longer by saying, okay, someone says to me, hey, do you want to put this bulletproof vest on? I'll shoot you. I'd probably at least make sure he's a good shot. I mean, this is like just some, he's not even like a,
How old?
they're
know?
30 and 28. The guy who is now going to be, going to jail, he's 30, and the deceased gentleman was 28.
Yeah, it's natural selection.
That's natural.
But okay, that's
If
really.
you were tougher, goddammit, you would have made it through.
If you were smarter, you wouldn't have done it in the first place.
If you were smarter.
Like, if you were smarter, you would not have put yourself in that position in the first place.
Very
But
true.
What's interesting is that the person that got shot was bragging about, how he was gonna deuce
in the chest.
Yeah, deuce in the chest.
What?
So obviously he wasn't coerced. He was a willing participant in this.
Oh, they videoed it.
Right.
So there's another person that videoed it. I'm assuming they thought this would go on YouTube. But I guess maybe that's some type of slang, Sam, to answer your question. Deuce in the chest because it was a .22 caliber.
Okay, got it.
It took me a second, too, because
So
I didn't know what deuce
the
was.
person that was shooting the video, aren't they an accessory to the murder?
I have no idea.
I mean, they should
it doesn't
be.
say.
Is it considered a murder then? Because
He's up for murder charges.
He's facing murder charges.
Do you think it'll go through?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, he didn't go with intent to murder, and if it was videotaped, he's got some good evidence there. Luckily, I guess.
Well, it may not be
Admissible?
Manslaughter.
It may not be manslaughter, but it's going to be some type of. I mean, they're going to
It's
have
going to be
to
some
make,
type of homicide
right.
or something. No.
and they're going to have to make an example of this for all those YouTubers out there watching, all those teenagers. I'm looking at my teenagers. That's my 15-year-old son who's in studio right now.
He's thinking that's awesome, man. That's right.
Well, now listen, on a serious note, kids, don't mess with guns. I mean, just
Right.
be smarter than that,
Yeah.
It's just stupid. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, here's a funny one. We were going to do this last week, and we didn't do it because we were talking about all our conspiracy alien stuff.
which I'm sorry I missed.
I know you would have loved
Yeah,
that show.
that would have been great for me.
Yeah, I know. We
Yeah.
missed you. So this woman, Dorothy Hunter, up in Richland, Washington, is now doing a bizarre diet of natural pet food. She's eating dog and cat food for a month.
Why?
There's people who do that for
Is
a
this
living.
a diet?
Well,
Can you lose weight?
She didn't have
Christina's
time.
gonna do it. She's gonna do it.
She says she didn't have time. She works at a pet store. She didn't have time to get a snack, so she just grabbed a bag of treats off of the counter, and she was like, wow, well, these don't taste that bad. So she's going to try it for 30 days.
Now there are people who do that for a living too. They test out the dog food and they taste it.
That is just crazy. Now,
That is.
if
a
at the
job.
end of 30 days she says, in 30 days I lost 60 pounds, I
Well-
might be willing to consider this. Gibbles and bits.
An expert does say choosing to experiment with pet food as a long-term option is a nutritional negative, and it might make you sick.
Oh, okay. Well,
Or
Of course, if you get sick, though, you might lose some pounds because, you're
Yeah.
vomiting all of it up. Wow. I'm just saying.
I feel like we need a bulimia disclaimer right there.
Probably.
You lose your esophagus.
I was strictly saying that if you get sick from the dog food, you would lose a pound or two. I was
Which
not
is
stating that
not-
you should get sick. When I was sick like about a month ago, and James had never, James been together 4 years, and he said to me when we were done, he goes, when I was done getting sick, like 2 days later, he goes, I've never seen you so sick because I don't do the whole puking thing very well at all. And it was really, really
But
bad.
who does?
That's where my point's coming. I was like, who the heck could ever do this to lose weight? Like, I'm over and I'm like, give me water, crackers. I'm like crying the taste. It's like puke. Who does that? Like, who could really do that? There's no way. I'm too much of a wuss.
Well, okay.
I'm
We
just too much
won't
of a wuss.
talk about bulimia.
We won't talk about that. We'll do that another
We'll do
day.
another show.
Anyway, I definitely am not a candidate for that. Okay. So, that's Dorothy Hunter. Just trying out dog food for a month. Good job, Dorothy.
I'm curious to see how it goes.
She didn't say she was doing it to lose weight, though.
I know.
That's not her
I'm
premise.
curious to hear how the 30 days.
Yeah.
Does she just finally go? You know what? I need food. I need human
Right?
food. You
Where
know?
did that story come from? Is it from a blog that she wrote? Like, where did you find this article?
No, it is. You would ask me that right when
if
I
you
closed
search
it out.
Oh, sorry.
batshit crazy,
Oh, that's the first that pops up.
It's under batshit crazy. And no, hold on one second. And I will
hashtag what
type-
were you thinking?
Yeah.
right?
No
Exactly.
kidding.
Hashtag didn't your parents raise you better?
This is from Huffington Post.
Yeah.
Yeah, Huffington Post.
That was my next guess.
Huffington Post always has some good ones. So, all right, and the last one comes
Is this
to us
wild,
by-
weird, wonderful, or just
I think
wacky?
this is. What is a?
I call wacky.
what's another word?
Yeah, what's another
starts with a
W
W.
word for screwed up? What's a W word for screwed up? That's what we're gonna call it. Wacky. Anyway, there is Arizona. This comes out of Phoenix, Arizona, our lovely city here, and this is actually from Yahoo News. Reuters actually. Arizona prosecutors will drop child abuse. Did I say that wrong? I did. Arizona prosecutors will drop child abuse charges against a woman who generated national attention back in March after leaving her 2 young sons in a hot car while she went in for a job interview. Bill Montgomery said the charges against, and I'm sorry,
Shanisha
Taylor will be dismissed once she successfully completes parenting and substance abuse treatment program and sets up child care and educational trust funds for her children. They will drop it. They believe that will hold her accountable, also while recognizing the best interests of her family. So.
And what are your thoughts on this story?
Absolutely against it. Here's why. If I was a mother, okay, because the police found these 2 children. So
Right.
it's not like she made it out of her interview. She was only in there for, however many minutes. Kids were fine. They were 8 and 10 and had water and whatever. I believe this was a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old.
They're
Okay.
babies.
So this was not and I'm not saying, okay, let me back up. I'm not saying it's okay if they're 6 or 8. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is the age of these kids, even if they were extremely hot,
They
they
can't
would
take
not
care
know
of
to get out.
themselves.
Right.
Correct.
And-
Hopefully an 8-year-old would know.
The
Hey, I'm
temperature
hot.
on this day was 100 degrees.
100 degrees.
The police were called because someone saw the kids in
Yes.
there. What she
Correct.
did was absolutely horrific. I'm in agreement.
Absolutely horrific.
Yep.
Okay. So if someone didn't see it, and if the police did not make it there, those 2 children would be dead.
Correct.
So let's compare it to, similar to the silly story that we called about, the man who shot his friend with a bulletproof vest. I'm a crazy mom. I shoot my kids, but it's not life-threatening. They're not dead. Okay, so I
Right.
didn't completely kill them. So I should just, let me go through some anger management maybe. And since the story has went out and she has all these people who are helping her, they have raised $115,000 for her. So raise some money for me, people out on the internet. Raise some money for me because I am batshit crazy and I left my 2 toddlers in a car. And then I'll give them some college and hopefully they make it till they're 18. And I'll go to anger management and I'll call it a day. So I absolutely disagree with it.
Are you done?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I'll be done until I listen to you. Then
Okay.
I'll go back.
So here are my thoughts on this. Bill Montgomery is a no bullshit prosecutor,
Mhm.
and I was shocked when I heard this story. And I know that for him to come up with this this judgment, this deal with her, I know that there are many parameters in place, and I know that there are also some extenuating circumstances that got him to this place of saying, let's
Mhm.
give her a second chance. I'm a firm believer in people getting second chances. She made a horrible mistake. She made a bad decision. She made a bad choice. She obviously was not aware that there are state programs in place when you are going, if you're a parent and you are out of work and you are job hunting, interviewing, there are many daycare facilities that will watch your children for you for free. So she obviously was
Mhm.
unaware of that. She obviously made some bad choices, needs some parenting classes, which is part of this judgment.
Mhm.
She has to take parenting classes. And Bill Montgomery has said if she doesn't do everything that we have told her she must do, then the original charges, that's what's going to happen. I mean, so this really, in my opinion, this is giving a parent a second chance, and with a no bullshit. And he's been very clear that, you know, this is extenuating circumstances. This judgment is not going to apply, you know, in the event that someone else. So don't think that because she got this ruling that this court standing will apply to you.
But this is exactly what he's setting that up for. One, and two, I'm all about second chances also. In lieu of certain things, okay? So you're a mom, all right? And you're in a hurry. You got this job interview or whatever. You forget to put your 4-year-old in the booster seat with your seatbelt on. I get that. But this is like, these kids were probably like a half hour from being dead. So there's a big difference there, in my opinion. And I think that Bill Montgomery, regardless of whether I feel he's a good prosecutor, bad, or indifferent, I'm indifferent on that, he's setting up the fact that this is going to come up in the future.
I don't think he's
because
setting
we're
this
in
up as a
Arizona.
precedent. I really don't think he's setting this
Well,
up as a precedent. But
Let's hope we never find out, and let's hope we don't have an idiot parent who will do this again. But we will. So then we'll know whether it's a...
well, parents doing this or not doing this, you know, repeatedly, when they do this, we have many precedents of, you know, throwing the book at them. And that didn't... So saying that in one case, you know, the book was thrown at him, in one case it wasn't, that doesn't seem to be changing the choices that parents are making.
Exactly. I'm not saying that because he's done this or because they've thrown the book at other parents that parents aren't going to do it. There's stupid people out there that unfortunately made it through the
Why are you pointing back?
Natural selection.
Talking about natural selection.
Natural selection.
There's certain parents. There's certain parents.
I understood. That was not an insult at me. Thank you, Christina.
Some people, and then she points at Sam, who's running the board.
Some people would say that somehow they made it through natural selection.
Natural selection.
Somehow they made it through there. So there are going to be people who make it through that somehow, and they're going to make the mistake. So all joking aside, so it is going to happen again. I'm not saying that this is going to deter people because there's just idiots out there, but I'm just saying that this case will be pulled up again when it happens again.
So I have
And
a
then
story
we're gonna
for you
have-
guys too. I don't know if you guys
What's
still have some
that?
time.
Yes.
So have you guys heard what the biggest Kickstarter?
Wait, let's not go past this. I think we have a
Oh.
comment on that one story.
Okay, so
No one can hear you. You've got to get to a microphone.
okay, so supposedly it's a thing where like
Closer to the
parents-
microphone.
Parents forget that their kids are in the back seat of the car or whatnot. So you're supposed to take your left shoe and put it back with your child so you don't forget them.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Good
I don't
idea.
think I think that's a great idea. I've also heard people putting their phone or their purse with the child, but this wasn't the case here. It wasn't a case of mom forgot.
No,
Mom,
she absolutely did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. If you are in a mindset, whatever type of mindset that you have, that you can forget that your kids are in the back, I think that when you get in the car, you're probably going to forget to put your shoe back there or your purse back there or your phone back there. You know, I just feel
Okay.
like your mind's where it is. So anyway.
All right. So have you guys heard about the newest Kickstarter that's crazy right now?
Nope.
Take a look at that screen in front of you guys right there. See that?
Potato
potato
salad?
salad?
Potato salad. He was raising I think he was raising like next to nothing, and he's obviously got over 6,000 backers. What's the number there for the amount of money?
61,000.
61,128.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of different supporting things you can do there. You can see how many backers he's had. He's had over 1,800 backers for $1 or more.
For potato salad?
Yeah, it was a great joke online, and he basically, the more you go up, he's like, I'll take a picture of me making the potato salad. And if you go up to, like, there are backers that have, like, over 500, I think. Let me go down. Hold on a second.
I want to have so much money that I could just say, here's $1,000. Let
here
me
you go.
see you make potato salad.
The platinum one is $110 or more. There's 17 people who did this. Receive a recipe book, the shirt, a hat, along with a bite of the potato salad, a photo of me making the potato salad, a thank you posted to our website, and I will say your name out loud while making the potato salad.
I need to get more creative.
Seriously.
To make my mortgage.
Yeah, if you
Why am I working? Forget that crap.
I'm going to make potato salad.
Shit, I'll make
if
dog food.
if you donate $1, he will say your name while making the potato salad. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's been all over the web. It's been the front page of Reddit. I don't know if you guys follow that at all.
That is crazy.
But he's given so many updates. You can see him right there. Just some of the updates, he's just updating them through and through, and they still got a few days left, and so if you want to donate, you still can. And it's quite the...
You know what? Wait. If he gets another $250, he's going to get better mayonnaise.
Yeah, he just keeps upping it like that. That's
I'm not going to get Kroger brand. I'm going to actually get Kraft.
Now, are you mayonnaise or Miracle Whip?
It doesn't matter.
I'm either or.
Whatever
Really?
works. Whatever works. Whatever's in the fridge at someone's house, I'm not going to complain.
Oh, I think Miracle Whip is the nastiest thing out there.
But
It is just wrong.
I didn't really ever
I want to make a
have
potato salad.
Potato
kick-
salad?
Potato salad.
Potato?
A potato salad Kickstarter that like bans and outlaws Miracle Whip. That's mine.
Well, in Ohio, we always had Miracle Whip. Growing up, I thought Miracle Whip was mayonnaise. So, like, if I made anything with mayonnaise, I would have grabbed the Miracle Whip.
Poor child.
Yeah.
So now I eat both.
All right, we need to go to a break.
go to a break.
And when we get back,
Oh, we're going to a break now?
we need to go to a break.
Well, we're going to go to a break
Okay.
once Christina tells us what we're doing after break.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Bullying.
And we have our two guests
Yes.
will be joining us.
And we're going to talk about bullying.
So
And I don't know that we're all going to agree. But your comments, calls are definitely welcome. The number is 602-399-7787. If you'd like to give us a call. Don't call us right now because we're going to a break right now. But in a couple minutes, once we're talking about bullying, you can give us a call. At that point, you can call in.
I heard about bullying in the workplace. Sam, will you hurry up and just put it to a break? Jesus.
Throw me out.
Because we're just going to keep talking until
We'll
you
be back.
Would you like to share your military knowledge and experience with other service members and help them achieve their goals? Hey everybody, it's James from Vets On. You can do just that by becoming a military student enrollment advisor with the University of Phoenix at their Phoenix, Arizona campus. Military student enrollment advisors work with prospective students who've chosen to serve their country just like you. You'll be helping them enroll, choose a degree program, and guide them through their first class. To qualify for this great opportunity, you need a valid DD-214, military ID card from the National Guard or Reserves, a bachelor's degree, or 60 college credits. Military spouses are also eligible with current DoD ID card and a bachelor's degree. If you're looking for a great career while helping fellow military members, then we urge you to contact the University of Phoenix today. Apply now by going to jobs-apollo.com and enter the word Military Enrollment Advisor in the search bar. And don't forget to tell them that Vets On sent you.
Breaker, one nine. How about that bandage? You got them ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Hey everyone, it's Adam from Vets On. Are you or someone you know looking for employment? Then look no further than iVetX. iVetX is placing veterans with the right hiring companies. Join their mission in putting veterans in inspiring careers with ensured success. Access their national pipeline of military talent for companies. All veterans are pre-screened for 55 soft skill sets, 800 clarification types, education, experience, salary range, and so much more. iVetX can help you find the perfect job to veteran match. Your skills are based on what's needed for success in that job.
You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
All right, we're back. And in studio with us, we have Jessica Ward, Miss Arizona, United States.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we have Shane Peter. I feel like I should give you a title of some sort. Mr. Shane Peter?
Mr. Arizona 2014.
Degenerate. It's all good.
All right, so everyone is going to scoot in. You're going to get really close because we want all of our listeners to be able to hear you. Mic 1. She's telling me mic 1. I don't know who. Oh,
That's
you're number 1.
Yeah.
The little numbers. That's
she's
that
really
was me trying to
bossy.
be discreet, but you know whatever.
I'm bossy?
Yeah, Christina's really
I'm
bossy, you
bossy?
guys. I'm sorry. I
Do you feel bullied?
apologize for
I
her.
never knew that.
Yeah, she's so bossy.
Well, we're going to talk about a really important topic today. We're going to talk about bullying. And I have to say, as I was kind of preparing for this, I had a different viewpoint. And I kind of thought, you know, bullying is a part of growing up. It's something that happens. It's something that builds character. It makes you tougher. It makes you stronger. It kind of, you know, it's who you are. It helps to create who you are today. And it's just, you know, suck it up. I mean, that was kind of my opinion of it. And after doing a little bit more research and seeing the numbers of suicides that are related to bullying every year, 4,400, kind of made me rethink that a little bit. So we're going to talk about bullying. If you've ever been bullied, we're going to talk about bullying. We're going to talk about workplace bullying. We're going to talk about cyber bullying. So if you've ever been bullied and you would like to share with us your thoughts on this, you can certainly give us a call. If you're watching on the video hangout, the number is in the lower thirds, hopefully.
Yep.
Sam?
Yep. It's been there.
Okay. Or you can give us a call at 602-399-7787. Again, that number, 602-399-7787. My kids, Rob's kids, are here in studio, and at the end, we're going to let them chime in and share with us what bullying looks like today in the schools. So, Jessica,
Yes.
share with you're Miss Arizona, United States.
Yes.
Have you ever been bullied?
I have in high school.
Oh, really?
And had an incident in the Air Force, actually.
In the Air Force?
When I was in the military, yes.
Okay, so what happened in high school?
In high school, it was a weird transition. I feel that when you're going from 8th grade to high school, you don't know what to expect, and it's so weird, and you're nervous, and you have friends that are going with you to this school, but it's so overwhelming. It's a new environment, and you want to make friends with a lot of people, so just to make it an easy transition. So my freshman year, I joined cheer and met a lot of cool friends, but I've noticed with that and I had long hair, and I was size 0. I was a little girl. I mean, I pretty much looked like I was 12 years old. And basically, I had these group of girls that just did not like me out the gate. Just, I tried to be nice. I tried to say hello in the hallways, and it was, they called me the B word, the S word. It was really quite overwhelming for me. And even talking about it right now as an adult, it kind of makes me feel, it kind of takes you back to that place that's a really sad and a place that it's just, I feel that no kid should go through. And but at the end of the day, it was resolved. I actually had to move schools, and that was the resolution to that. They would not stop. My parents got involved. They would go to my cheer games. They would follow me to my games. I mean, any chance they wanted to get me alone, it was on. And
did
they were
school
not
do anything to get involved, or no?
The school did. Actually, my stepfather was friends with the principal of my school, and when the parents came in for the girl that was harassing me, you could even tell by the parent. The parent looked like a bully. I mean, she looked like just an older version of her daughter. And when I say that she looked like, she had this look about her that you can kind of walk into a room and you can kind of pinpoint certain people that speak a certain way or how they act. And her mother was just, the fruit didn't fall far from the tree. Her mother was just the same and was yelling at me as she was leaving. So we just felt at that time that, I couldn't take it anymore. So I ended up going and transferring over to Tolleson High School. And that was the best experience. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Now, I know that, Shane, you had a similar experience in was it junior high?
Mm-hmm.
Share with everyone what happened and how you handled that.
In junior high, I was pretty scrawny, and I was shorter than the rest of the kids, and I was a beanpole, and so it that lends itself to getting picked on quite a bit.
Right.
And it was pretty much a select group of guys that it was their regular thing. It didn't last a long time. I'd been taught that bullying is about power. Right. And if you take that power away, it won't stop them from bullying somebody else, but they'll leave you alone because now they don't have that power anymore. Mm-hmm. And this kid one of the kids that had bullied me, who was one of the school jocks and really popular, went to my junior high. It was 2-level, and there's an elevator, and I'm walking by with my books, and he went to shove me into the elevator, which students weren't allowed into. Right. He thought it'd be funny. And I'd had enough, and I put him down immediately with one hit.
So you fought back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was before, I hadn't really done anything about it. I'd talked to a counselor about it, and again, nothing had come of it. And finally, I just had enough. And I certainly wasn't going to hurt myself over it, and I wasn't going to hurt anybody else over it. It was just time for me to end my own suffering. And once I did that, I didn't have a problem with anybody all the way through the rest of high school. Once the target is off your back, once they know you're going to fight back in one way or another, then you're not a target anymore.
So it sent a clear message to the entire group of those boys.
Yeah.
Now, was this something that you were talking to your parents about as well?
Oh, beforehand, yeah. Yeah, it was a problem. It was not a big problem. I wasn't getting beat up and just shoved around and knocked books out of my hands and things like that. It wasn't a big epic problem.
See, and I think it's interesting. Here we have 2 stories of individuals who how old are, if you don't mind, are you? Okay, it doesn't matter how old you are. But
well, I'll tell you how old I am.
How
if you want to know.
I'll ask.
Do you want to know?
She now is getting polite. How old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay, so we're all about the same generation.
Right.
Same
so
time.
so in our generation, here we have this snapshot of people that you tried to Jessica tried to handle it, ended up having to move schools. Shane, you handle it, and the way that you decided to handle it obviously was a solution to your challenge. I don't understand why we're having so many suicides, and at that, when you were dealing with that, we weren't hearing about suicides. We didn't have 4,400 suicides a year. Michelle, did you experience bullying when you were growing up? Or were you the bully?
What are you talking about? First of all, I am offended, highly offended that you would say that I was the bully. I do remember, though, I will tell you in elementary school, here's my little story. It wasn't really a bully, but we thought it was kind of funny, but maybe it was a bully. But I don't think I was a bully.
All right,
I was an older grade. But here's
okay.
So Aaron Hathaway and Chris Donovan, like when we were in elementary school, like they were boyfriend and girlfriend, like the whole time. Okay, everybody knew it. The entire school knew it.
Okay.
But there was this one girl that about once a week, we could go over and say, Aaron Hathaway wants to know if you'll go out with him, and she would say yes every time, and we would run away laughing because we were like, why do you say yes every time? He's dating Chris Donovan, and then we would laugh at her. But that was in 6th grade. But no, I was teased. I was very thin, very thin. I think I didn't even weigh 100 pounds when I graduated, like high school. I might have been 110 when I graduated high school, and 5'10". I mean, I was tall.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had freckles. So I was. I guess we called it being teased. But no, I guess. I mean, at our school, did we have? I guess we had more cliques. But I think we just kind of stayed in our own. We didn't really.
How big of a school was it?
Not very many. My graduating class was 350.
Okay, so small.
So you knew small school. So you knew everybody who they were. They're the study group. These are the jocks. These are the people that do the pot. I mean, you knew these are the drinkers. So you knew who everybody was, and we just kind of really stayed in our own. In our own realm. But I was friends with Gina Van Arsdale. So Gina, if you're listening, Gina can ask anyone from Salina. The guys were scared of her. I mean, like her shoulders were broad like this. And when we were freshmen, you move into freshmen, and you're scared. You don't know what's going to go on. You have your little friends. And the senior came down our hallway, and she sucker punched Gina. And Gina turned around and nailed her right into the lockers. We had lockers then, like the hallways all had lockers. So she's like shoving her head into the locker. No one messed with us because they knew that Gina would take care of them. So I didn't have to worry about it. But I think our school was different, because it was small. Like Sam said, maybe it's because it's small. But we didn't really. I think everybody just stayed in their own thing,
See, I think growing up, I was a military brat, so I moved around a lot. Yeah, so I went to 3 different high schools, one in Illinois, one in Mississippi, and then landed here in Arizona, and landed here, which I was very upset about because, no offense to all of my fellow classmates, Mesa High, but I was offended by the move here because in Mississippi I was part of a sorority in high school, and that was an amazing experience. But in all of those schools, I didn't see a lot of bullying. I definitely wasn't bullied. I certainly wasn't the bully. I think because I moved so much, like the school that I went to in Illinois, I felt more shy and an outsider looking in, so I really didn't feel a part of the school. In Mississippi, I felt very much a part of that school because I was part of Junior Miss, and I was, I knew everybody. I was definitely part of the in crowd. Coming here to Mesa, that was the first time I ever met and knew what a Mormon was. And like my first interaction with someone who was Mormon, I was planning on taking an A hour, and she said to me, "Oh, so you're LDS?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she literally walked away from me. So I mean, it was an interesting, but there wasn't bullying.
Yeah.
So I personally haven't been on the receiving end of bullying. Sam, have you experienced bullying?
Oh yeah, I was bullied a lot. In 6th grade, middle school was probably the worst for me. 6th grade I was really pudgy. And so I had glasses, and back then, of course, being a nerd was not cool. Now it's cool. I don't know how that happened. But anyways, I used to be picked on all the time because I was quiet and stand up for myself. And it really got to me. But you know what? I never fought. I don't say I never fought back. I ignored it. I didn't fuel the fire. And, they got bored and they moved on.
But we know it's affecting kids today.
Right.
And I think that's why I want to talk about this. I want to have this conversation about bullying. You had a friend of yours, and their son actually did commit suicide because of bullying. Do you want to share with everyone?
Sure, yes. Basically, what happened was one of my nurses, I'm in medical sales, so I have quite a bit of medical assistants and nurses that I work with on a daily basis. But one of my nurses was really sad one day when I came in, and she shared a story about a friend of hers that she had grown up with, and her son, Jordan Johnson, 12 years old, had committed suicide about 3 weeks ago. And he was bullied and had glasses, and I didn't get too much of the story, but just what she told me about the little boy, the 12-year-old who committed suicide, just broke my heart. I have 2 boys, and one's going to be 11 next month, or in a couple of months actually. I have one that's going to be 17 next month, and one that's going to be 12 or 11 in 2 months. And it just broke my heart. And she asked if I could help her, use my Facebook and any friends that I could help raise some money for this parent that was struggling to pay for the funeral, and just the whole circumstance. I don't know if the mother knew it was going on, or I didn't get too much detail, but the fact that he took his life, 12 years old,
right,
it just took me back.
That would be like a 6th grader, correct?
Yeah,
yes.
Parker is 11. He'll be, so a 6th grader.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing that I wonder is the problem bullying, or is the problem how people are reacting to bullying? And I relate it to, is the problem with guns, or is the problem with how people use guns?
Right. Same idea. It's like what I said, right? I didn't fuel the fire. So that's me dealing with the bullying.
Right.
I think society has changed so much, just even from when we were kids to now, whether it is the way the movies have changed and how graphic they are, whether it's the games that people are playing. Certainly the internet and cyberbullying is a whole different thing that we have no idea how to control or do anything. So I think that because all of those things have changed, people's reactions to it now are so much different. Like, for example, when you were 11 and if you were bullied, you would never think to do something like that. So is it, society, as far as the games, the movies, the things that kids think it's not real, that they think that, okay, these don't have actual consequences.
Well, when you were 12,
changed.
do you remember hearing that stuff ever? Do you
Hearing
remember
what stuff?
Like people committing suicide? Because I sure don't. I don't remember ever hearing anything like that.
I had a couple people a couple friends in high school commit suicide.
But like middle school.
Middle school, probably not.
I don't remember anything like that.
I don't remember that either.
I don't remember hearing it at that level. And is that because it wasn't happening, or is that because it wasn't being talked about? When in World War I, when when they were coming back from war, you weren't hearing about PTSD. Does that mean they weren't experiencing it? They absolutely were experiencing it. So I don't think it's a matter of it's not happening. I just think that we're not talking about it, or that we weren't talking about it then, and now we are. And now we're so much more connected.
But I don't know if it was happening as much, because, like I said, I think that society has changed.
Right.
Our kids now that are 11 and 12 are playing video games and seeing in movies graphic things.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think a lot of kids, they sit there and they play the shoot 'em up games and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know that they really are mature enough to get the connection that a gun in real life, it's not a game. It's not you can restart the game. And so I think that has changed what kids are doing to deal with things.
Okay.
Media has changed the whole dynamic too. Facebook, MySpace. Someone gets a bad picture, a bad video of a kid, instead of it just being a rumor around school where maybe 10 or 15 kids know about it. Now thousands of people know it. It's posted, and it's immediate. Now you have, especially if you're in a small community,
right?
The whole community sees it. You can't walk down the street.
Right. Well, and with cyberbullying, we have to have conversations with our kids about how to interact, what to share. You know, some of these pictures that girls are sharing with other kids, there's a bullying aspect to that. There was a recent story that I heard about, and this is a thing, cyber sex. It's not sexting. I can't remember the terminology for it. But essentially what's happening is these girls are getting enticed to send pictures of themselves, and these pictures, and they think they're sending them to another child that's their age, but it turns out that it's actually an older person pretending to be a child, and then they're bullying them and controlling them with that picture. You know, if you don't do what I want you to do, then I'm going to let this picture go viral and I'm going to share it with everybody. So it's another way that people are controlling. Now, just because that's taking place in that cyberspace doesn't mean that there aren't things that you can do. And I think, Shane, you had a great the prompt, and what brought this topic up was actually something that you did on Facebook. It angered me. And I wasn't angry at you. So I just want to. I'm so angry at you. I'm going to bring you on my show.
If you were starting to doze off, you just woke up.
Yeah, the sound mixer over
So
here.
I'm going to get a tongue lashing now. Okay.
No, I was mad at what was happening, and I was proud of the way that you handled it, but it really, it triggered something in me, and I wanted to have this conversation about bullying. So share with everyone about your post and what led to that post.
Okay.
Did you know that we were going to talk about that?
Yeah, I had a suspicion. When I was in college, there's a friend of mine that I've known since college. Not a great friend. I mean, he's not. I never consider him one of my best friends. We didn't, talk every day. Kind of a once a month check-in, maybe even every other month. Hey, how you doing? Type thing. He called and asked me for advice on a problem he was having in a relationship, and didn't like the advice that I gave him. I kind of suspected that I wasn't getting the whole story, and I told him that, and I said, if you really want my opinion, I need more information. He didn't like it, and threatened to out me on Facebook with an addiction that I have been battling for most of my adult life, which is gambling. And at first I was really angry, and I hem-hawed over what to do about it, but in the end I decided it's not worth being angry about. He's probably in a very bad place himself. He's dealing with some very serious issues, and it was out of character for him to make that threat. And there was only one way that I could deal with it that would squash the fire, and that was to make the announcement myself. Now, for me, my anonymity didn't really mean a whole lot to me anyway, because I'm writing a book about my story of addiction and what's happened. So it would have come. I wasn't going to do it under a pen name, and I wasn't going to do it using my last initial. So it was going to come out anyway. But it certainly moved up my timeline a bit. Mm-hmm. In a way, I'm actually grateful to him that it happened, because it was another thing that lifted a burden. Now I don't have to worry about who knows and who doesn't.
Right.
It's done. It's out there, and I had an overwhelmingly positive response from people about it. And so it hasn't been that big a deal. But when it first happened, I lost a lot of sleep over it. What am I going to do with this? This is my family going to get backlash from this? I didn't know what to do about it, and I talked with my sponsor quite a bit about it, and I had finally come up with the solution of just, I took away the fuel. He had nothing to work with then, and I had people who said, well, just unfriend him and block him. Well, that wouldn't have done anything, because all that meant was that I couldn't see his post and he couldn't see mine, but all the people that we were mutually friends with still would have seen anything that he posted.
Right.
So that still wouldn't have dealt with the situation. It still would have happened. And I didn't want anyone else to find out through another person. That was, I felt, my responsibility to tell people.
Right.
Not someone else's, because it wasn't their situation.
Well, and I think the way that you handled it, you took control of it. And I think there's an interesting lesson there for people to look at when we're talking about the cyberspace, cyberbullying, the way that you took control of it. I just felt bad that, and I understand that it was a weight lifted off your shoulders, and I think that's great. I just wish that the prompt hadn't have been somebody else making you
Forcing
feel
you.
right. And people said, well, you weren't forced to, you made that choice, but you kind of were.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it moved up my timeline. I hadn't planned on doing it right then. It just brought it to, I had already known that I was going to break my own anonymity. It just made it happen sooner. There was one response on there that said, good for you, but I hated to see you cave. And I don't think I caved at all. I think that I took away his power to bully me.
Right.
It ended it. He has nothing left now to say.
Right.
And so, that's not caving. That I kept my recovery my own.
That's
and
good.
My recovery is mine, and it's not anybody else's, and I'm not going to let anyone else have the power over my recovery.
Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it caving. I agree with you. I think I remember seeing that post. So
yeah.
I find it interesting, though, that someone even of that age, right, is trying to do something that stupid, I look at that and go, I laugh about it, I guess. And I mean that in the nicest way, I guess. It's like, really, that's what you're going to try to do to me,
That's why I said I think he's
like,
just
come
in a
on.
bad place. He's not thinking clearly. I think there's very clearly other circumstances, and I just ended up being an easy outlet for his frustration.
And when you look at those that bully, the adults that bullied you, when you look at the children that bullied you, Jessica, if we knew more about the children that bullied your associate's son, I'm sure
Right.
at the root of that, it's they're what they've grown up watching, their parents.
right. It's the same as racism and everything, when you're raised with
the
that.
children are definitely a product of their environment. I firmly believe, because, like for my example, that the experience that I had, you looked at the mother, and the mother was a replica, or the daughter was a replica of the mother. Just an older version, very belligerent and just very harsh looking.
So the
And-
mother
and-
probably bullied her,
Absolutely.
and then that was her way of dealing
and her
with
outlet
it.
was to bully someone else so she can get that relief, and it's too bad.
If with both of you, and I'm going to ask you this first, Jessica, as you look back as an adult now, is there anything you could say to you, the younger version of you, anything that you would have done differently?
If I could go back and tell myself, I think my parents handled it in the best way that they could. Moving me to another school, I think, was the best solution,
Okay.
to be quite honest, because it resulted in a great experience. I actually was able to move back to my hometown and finish school there with some of the children that I went to school with since grade school. So it ended up being a positive experience for me in the end. But if I could tell myself anything, or tell children out there, it's just, you got to tell someone. You got to talk to your parents. If somebody's doing something to you that's making you feel really bad about yourself, and there's signs and symptoms, when your kids aren't wanting to go to school, or you're noticing depression, weight loss, they're in their room, stuck in their room, and you're wondering what's going on. You have to talk with your kids. And I had that direct communication with my parents, and they were for me 100%. And the solution was moving schools. I did, great result, but you have to tell somebody. That's the bottom line. Talk to anybody. Somebody can help you.
Right. That's
I
great.
definitely think communication is a big one. 7th grade was a hard year for me because my stepdad was killed in a plane crash. And so it was my mom and I again, and she was overwhelmed, and I didn't want to bring more to her. So I kept it to myself. And when I look back, would I have do I think I should have reacted differently? A little bit, maybe less severe than I did. I think if I had, it was physical bullying, so I needed to have a physical response, I think, to get a picture across, but I think I could have done it without throwing a fist.
Right.
But in the end, it worked, and I didn't have to resort to a weapon. I didn't have to resort to any other extreme, and it was done. Once, and Sam handled it it's still a similar way. You ignore it. You take away the fire. If they can't do it, then they're going to move on.
See, and I
You're
think
not a target.
Go ahead, Michelle.
No, go ahead.
I think the thing that I find interesting is that in this space now of cyber connectivity and so many kids experiencing being bullied, I'm not understanding why this technology and this tool isn't being used to connect more with other people that are experiencing the same thing. You know, I'm not understanding why.
I think it is, but to what degree, I don't know. You know,
like you talked about talking to somebody.
And I think that part of, I think the reason that bullying, and let's take cyberbullying out of this as far as this part of it, because cyberbullying, I can't imagine dealing with some of the stories that you hear of as far as pictures and name calling, and the way it can spread is absolutely crazy. But when it comes to like the teasing, the bullying at the school, that's not like a physical type thing, a name calling and whatever. And I think the reason that a lot of that is higher, that I think that kids' reactions are much more extreme than they used to be, is the fact that communication as a society has fallen so much. And whether that is technology, whether it's because both parents are working from home, whether it's because divorced parents are more, common, and that you don't have, I don't think the family structure is there. How many people have family dinners together anymore? That was a necessity when we were younger. My dad always worked 2 jobs, but there was one thing I can promise you: he was at dinner. So he worked his job, he came home for dinner, he left, and went to a second job. The family dynamics and the communication was there more. I think now we are so busy, or we say we are so busy, that the communication with our kids is not there. The communication with their schools are not as great as what it used to be. And I think that is the reason why it is harder. So when we're talking about, and then you're talking about the internet part of it and why isn't that there, kids really don't know how to communicate. I don't know if any of you in your job do hiring, but if you're talking to anyone under the age of like 23, like to even have a phone conversation with them, like a phone interview,
It's awkward.
It's like it's like, are you human? Like, who are you? Like, I said hello. Now you're supposed to say hello.
Oh, is that what you're supposed to do?
It's, and I'm not, and that's sad. But and I know I'm making a light of it, but it's sad. Like, I look at, where it is going to go. So I think that like I said, we are so busy. Both parents are working, and in society right now, a lot of parents are working 2 jobs. So, when do we make time to have conversations with our kids? And we've talked before, how often as a parent do you say, I think you're awesome? How often do we tell our kids that? So if we're not telling our kids that, and we don't have time for communication, and at school they have someone calling you fat or 4 eyes or whatever, and they hear that every day, but they don't even hear once a week from their parents, I love you, you're awesome, or whatever, then it is hard. Mm-hmm. And I think that society, that has changed things. That's my personal thought. So I think when it comes to if there's something online for bullying, are they going to open up? I don't know.
I love all you kids.
Christina's getting teary-eyed over there. I can see it.
Sorry.
She always she looked at her kids and went, "Ah."
Yeah, and then she's like, see, Michelle,
no,
such a bitch.
No, what I was thinking right there is the first time that I met Michelle, we totally butt heads, and I thought she was just
nice boots.
She was scary. She scared me. The first time I met her. I'm not kidding. The first time I met her, this woman scared me, and underneath it all, there's this heart of gold, and when she opens up and shares, it's just, yep.
Oh.
Well, so for those of you that have been bullied, there are some great, for those of you that have been bullied, or for parents that are listening, I encourage you to sit down and have a conversation with your kids. StopBullying.gov has some really interesting information out there. There are so many websites out there for bullying, but it sounds like what I'm hearing from everyone is it's about the conversation, having that conversation with your kids, and we need to be building up our kids
more. We know it happens, so you need to give them the tools to deal with it. don't expect that it's not going to happen to my kid, because it's going to happen.
Right.
So, but Sam's telling us it's break time. So
Okay.
when we come back,
We're going to be talking more in 2 minutes.
I'm Michelle. She's Christina. Goodbye.
Would you like to share your military knowledge and experience with other service members and help them achieve their goals? Hey everybody, it's James from Vets On. You can do just that by becoming a military student enrollment advisor with the University of Phoenix at their Phoenix, Arizona campus. Military student enrollment advisors work with prospective students who've chosen to serve their country just like you. You'll be helping them enroll, choose a degree program, and guide them through their first class. To qualify for this great opportunity, you need a valid DD-214, military ID card from the National Guard or Reserves, a bachelor's degree, or 60 college credits. Military spouses are also eligible with current DoD ID card and a bachelor's degree. If you're looking for a great career while helping fellow military members, then we urge you to contact the University of Phoenix today. Apply now by going to jobs-apollo.com and enter the word military enrollment advisor in the search bar. And don't forget to tell them that Vets On sent you. Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Breaker 19. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Do you need an extra push to start your day? Well, then tune in to Addie's Radio. Addie's Radio is a show that explores tough questions in an open and fun forum. The program also engages hard-hitting issues concerning veterans' physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. This show airs every Tuesday from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Vets On Media Network. Addie's Radio is hosted by Jesse James, a combat veteran of Afghanistan, so he knows the problems that veterans face every day. Jesse provides you guidance each and every week to be a better you. So tune into yourself each week by tuning into Addie's Radio. Go to vetsonmedia.com for show details.
You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets On Media Network.
All right, welcome back. So we've been talking about bullying. We've been talking about bullying that kids are dealing with, and we happen to have our kids in studio. Now, Michelle, your son is here. Did he have any experience with bullying?
No, Parker said bullying does not happen at his school. So now I will say, though, at least the school district that my kids are in, both of my kids, and we don't, you know how I said you should have open communication with your kids and dinner every night and both parents and whatever? I'm not saying I do that, okay? I am not saying I'm perfect. So, but somehow I am very blessed that my two youngest kids are very, very active with the special needs kids at both the schools. So somehow both of my kids have this like huge heart for like everyone. So I think in Parker's world, he doesn't see it because who he associates with does not bully. I'm sure it happens, but his friends and them, not really. He actually stands up. He has a little boys he's gone to school
How old
since
is
kindergarten. Parker's a 6th grader.
Okay.
And him and Brian have been friends since kindergarten. So, I just think Parker's not really like that. So I
Okay.
think he just isn't aware of it yet.
Well, I've got so
Interesting.
Sky is in studio. Sky, do you want to join us and share your experience with bullying?
She's all dressed up today.
She
Did you
had a
guys see her?
tiara
Look, she's all
on
dressed up.
earlier.
It was hurting my head.
It was
She's so
hurting your
pretty.
head.
Yeah.
Things on my head hurt my head too. That's what
All
I
right,
tell
so
myself.
Sky, what was your experience with bullying?
Okay, so I was in 6th grade, and I had another friend, and we had both matured earlier than everyone else in school, and we were both way taller than everyone else. So kids would call us the Twin Towers, and being tall is not considered really a bad thing, but at that age, they made it feel like it was a bad thing, and it really hurt, and yeah.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you about it.
Okay.
So apparently Christina doesn't have those conversations. So hey, listen, we are not the best parents in the world, but we'll tell you how to be. Okay, so you should listen. Now you're in high school.
Yes.
Do you think that does a lot go on at your school? A lot of bullying go on at your high school?
I don't see it. I'm a part of the choir and the drama area, so the people in that clique and that group were very accepting and were kind of nice to everyone. So I don't see bullying.
Good.
See, my sister, she just finished up high school, and I feel like all those experiences that I had from being bullied or going, man, if I had only been able to speak up for myself back then like I could now. And I really tried to tell my sister that. So when she was in middle school, I'd bring her to high school on her days off. I'd be like, all right, this is what high school's like.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you what it is. And I did the same for when I went to college. I took her to college with me. She's my little
Mini-me?
Yeah, she followed me everywhere. But I really think it helped her stand up for herself. She has a friend who his older sister is known for getting around, and one of her ex-boyfriends came up to my sister's friend and said, "Your sister's this, she's done that, blah blah blah." And my sister's like, "You know what? You need to get out of his face and go away.
Right.
Shut the blank up and go."
Right.
And when she was leaving high school, the assistant principal had asked her, "So did you think you were a bully?" And my sister went, "No, I'm not a bully at all. All I did is stand up for the people who were bullying others."
Right.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting that he even asked that.
Right.
Because, yeah, I can see how she could be considered that maybe because she's getting in somebody's face.
Right.
But at the end of the day, she was always there to help the little guy.
Right. I call that a protector. That's not a bully.
Yeah, I just
So-
found it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Sky, I think one of the other things is that at that age, I don't think you wanted the attention.
No, definitely not.
Right. So when people were, pointing that out, whether it was a good thing or bad thing, and you said that, they made you feel like being tall was a bad thing,
Mhm.
I think the attention was something that you didn't want.
Right.
And even to this day, Sky's, I don't understand it because I'm fine with attention, but Sky doesn't want the attention to be on her, which is another reason why the pageant was a great experience for
Yes.
her. So working on more things that help to build up self-esteem and, encourage our kids to be stronger. Thank you for coming over here and joining us and sharing. Do any of the other kids want to chime in on the topic of bullying? Okay, Morgan. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Get close to the microphone and tell everybody what your experience was with bullying.
I have a big one, it's long, but not about me. I don't want to share that one because it's so long. Okay, I have a small one.
Okay.
It was my friend. She's on Instagram and stuff, and this other girl. She posted a picture of her and her friend, and this other girl. She's like, "Oh, Kate, girl, you look so pretty." Oh, you don't. Sorry, I don't like that picture. And so Brett is saw that comment. He's like, oh, yeah, look who's talking.
Brett, your brother?
Yeah.
Brett? Okay.
He's like, well, you shouldn't say that. That's mean. And that was it.
So how did when he stood up for the person that was being bullied, did you guys get any feedback on that?
Well, they worked it out.
Okay.
Like within a month, but it was.
Okay.
They worked it out.
Okay. Well, good. It's always nice when kids are able to work it out and handle it on their own. Sometimes, it's interesting. Thank you for joining us with that. Did you have anything else you wanted to share with everybody? No. Okay. Thank you. Jessica, kids being able to work it out. You think that bullying is something that only happens when we're kids, when we're teenagers. Statistically, by 10th grade, on one of the sites I saw that it's, typically ends at 10th grade, but sometimes it continues into adulthood. And you shared that you experienced that when you were in the Air Force. What happened?
Yes, when I was in the Air Force, when I first went in, it's always awkward when you're starting something new. So you go into the military and you're civilian at first, and then you go into the military. It's quite the transition. So you definitely need to follow direction. When they say jump, you jump, and you jump high. And so it's the transition. So you acclimate into military life, and you notice that there are some people that use their power. They've been in years, and in the civilian world they wouldn't be, I don't know if they would be as high, in the civilian world, but in military world they stay in for years. And I remember this one situation where a female master sergeant would make comments about my uniform. I would press my uniform and shine my shoes, to the point where it was colonels noticed it. People would stop me to tell me how great my uniform looked. So I went definitely above and beyond, and I was put up for Airman of the Year at that time. So all of the things that had led up to all my awards, and I was put up for Airman of the Year, and she just felt that I had too much makeup on. I did my hair. I shone my shoes too much. I ironed my uniform too much. I drove around in a BMW. These things that, she didn't realize that, I had humble beginnings to get that BMW. I cross-trained into intelligence, and they offered me a bonus. I used my bonus for that down payment on a used BMW. I've always wanted one. I worked hard for it. And it was always, everything that I had is what she wanted. And she was, twice my age, and she was going to make me feel bad. And every chance she got, she would put me down in front of others. And I felt that at that point, it took me back to those high school days. And I knew that I could do something about it. I was going to empower myself. I told someone. I told my first sergeant, and they handled it swiftly and very effectively. It was put to a stop immediately.
Wow.
The Air Force prides themselves on zero tolerance for bullying. They stopped it. She apologized, and I just knew I didn't like her as a person. I didn't respect her. I didn't like her and what she stood for, so I stayed away from her. And I knew that she was making comments about other people. After she was done with me and that fuel was taken away, she didn't bully me anymore, but I noticed that she started to pick on other airmen. And what I ended up doing was I started a council, an Airmen's Council. And I was vice president of Airmen's Council. And I also empowered airmen to talk to someone, to reach out to other people, anyone who will listen. If you're being bullied by somebody that has higher rank, because that's where it comes from, it's people that have higher rank and they can tell you what to do, and you have to do it. And that's just the military world. But we started this council and to empower airmen to stand up for themselves, to empower themselves. And for me, I knew moving forward that there was no one. I just was never going to be bullied again. So for me, that was a sense of empowerment. And it's just been, and I think they still, at that base in Colorado, they still have the Airmen's Council to when I was back in 2001.
Wow. You know what I find really interesting is that we can say all the time, words don't hurt, but they do. They absolutely do. And we can say, people will say, well, you can't. No one can make you feel anything, but it absolutely can have an impact on you. And I think that people need to be a little bit more cognizant of what they're saying and how they're making other people feel. I love the way that because as you were telling the story, all of the movies that I've ever seen about what takes place in the military, I felt for you. I was worried for you, and I didn't know if they were going to take it as seriously as they should have. And I'm so pleased to hear that they did.
They did.
Isn't boot camp all about bullying? I mean, it's supposed to happen there, right?
It's supposed to. I mean, there is a method to that madness. When you go into the military and you go into boot camp, what they want to do is they want to break you of all your bad habits, break everything of you that because they need to train you a specific way.
Right.
So they break you of your bad habits, but then they build you. So it's a building process, and they're very careful on how they break you. This is just my experience in the Air Force. I don't know about the other branches, but I was scared. I mean, the first, going back to basic training, I called my mom and I said, I can't do this. I got to come home. These people are really mean. And it was traumatic. But, my family's like, you know what? We're very proud of you. You can do this. This is a start to a new chapter in your life. And
so that's a different kind of bullying.
It's a different kind of bullying, but it's a breaking of bad habits to then build you.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a strong person and how to be disciplined.
Well, good for you.
That's the difference why it's not bullying. They actually, it is to a point, but then it goes the other direction.
Exactly.
They build you up, they encourage you, they mold you into what they need you to be as a strong individual who won't be bullied.
You actually become a stronger person. Yeah. There's just absolutely, it was the best experience for me.
Which I might say is why.
What were you going to say?
Well, I think it's interesting. So maybe because of boot camp and because of what you went through, instead of like when you were a child, it was I need to leave, I need to go to a new place.
Yes.
But now as adult, you had the tools and you had the skill set to say, you know what, I'm going to make a difference here, and I created this organization that helps put an end to bullying.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. What were you going to say, Michelle?
Well, I was going to say that, many people who are bullied as a child will also say it made them a stronger person. So you guys are saying it's different because they bully you to make you a better person,
Right.
But it still is I mean, I understand the military. I'm not saying they're going to change their boot camp. But what I'm saying is there are many people who had, hard childhoods, being, raised when they were, in school and being bullied and name called and whatever, and they're stronger people for it.
Right.
So,
but we don't know how every child's going to respond to that.
Right.
And
I'm not saying let's start a program to bully everybody so we have some strong-ass citizens. I'm not saying that. Jeez Louise,
I wasn't saying that you were saying that. I just don't want anyone to think that we're not still taking this seriously just because as an adult it makes you a stronger person.
No, I wasn't stating that to make a joke.
Right.
I was stating it to say there are people who say, that have survived that and are stronger people for it. So I wasn't making a joke of it.
Okay.
But I think that's also great to say that, how you said that it makes us stronger people because we've experienced it. So why don't we use that as a tool to empower other people, other young people, that these adults such as myself and other people in this room today that have experienced it and we're stronger people, build strong character, allow us to empower you to say something. I'd be willing to put my Facebook page out there. Anyone who is going through a traumatic time or needs help or somebody to listen to, message me. Facebook request me. Message me. I will use what I've experienced to help you. And I think other people in this room would agree.
Absolutely.
I think it goes to the communication of everything.
I listen to anybody now, and I'll help anybody in any way that I can. Always have.
Absolutely.
Nice. Now, Shane, you were in the Navy. Did you experience bullying in the Navy also?
Yeah, I look at it a little bit different. I don't think the breakdown process, I don't consider it bullying because it's structured in how they do it, especially since the military changed where drill instructors can no longer lay a hand on you, whereas before they could hit you. I mean, they had certain areas of your body that they could physically harm. Now they can't do that. But it's still a structured breakdown mentally and then a buildup. But it happens within the group. That's where bullying ends up happening, within the unit.
Right.
And more often than not, it ends up getting handled within the unit as well. Because that one individual is usually, that's the source that will screw up a whole unit.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets squashed quick.
I think it's just interesting the way that the military, I haven't heard about bullying in the military, but I think maybe the civilian community could learn a thing or two about that, because what's surprising to me is once we shared this topic, how many people reached out to me and said that workplace bullying is just as real and evident, and I'm surprised by that, because it's like, you know what, we're all adults now.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you're.
But some people's mentality never leaves high school.
I would
Sure.
agree.
I mean, certain people just don't grow up. They don't realize that it's just not funny anymore, or it's not,
Yeah.
Especially when they become in a position of supervision, if they're a manager, and now they think.
Well, and I think what businesses need to realize is how costly, if you have a person that's in a managerial role and they are a bully and you don't address that and look at what a serious issue it is, it's costly to your business with, high turnover and, people, just like when you're in school, you don't want to be around a bully. You're not going to go to work. So there's going to be missed days of work. I'm getting the 4-minute mark. I got it. Okay. Was that out loud?
How dare you do your job?
She did
Remember
everything but put neon.
Remember who controls the mute buttons? I'm just saying.
Did I just get muted?
You might.
Well,
You need like Sam around your whole life, like just to walk by you. So when you go to when you go to say something out loud that you shouldn't, she can just hit mute. She knows I'm way beyond that. Don't worry about me, Sam.
All right.
I'm good.
All right.
yeah, I saw someone post yesterday that they think more than they speak, and I was like, oh, that's not me. Like, I do not think about what's coming out. It's just kind of like, bam, there it is.
So since we do have 3 minutes,
Yes.
if you would like to tell us where people can go for your friend's son, go fund me, and it's
I
you
shared
put it on
it.
Facebook.
Yep, I shared it on Facebook.
Okay.
I shared it. If you go to the No Limits Radio Show page, I've shared it there, and it's in the event. So please do share that with other
Absolutely.
people.
And your Facebook, if anyone wants to take you up on the offer of.
Oh, absolutely. Jessica Ward, just Facebook me and message me, request me to ask, share your thoughts or how I can help you. As Ms. Arizona, I want to do anything I possibly can in my power to help you. And I take this very seriously. I have zero tolerance for it. So does my organization. Anything that we can do to talk to the right people to help you, we will do that.
Yeah.
So if you want to start with me and Facebook message me, I will do everything I possibly can to help you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And Shane, thank you for coming on. So next week, what are we talking about, Christina?
I don't have a clue
Well,
what
then
we're
y'all
talking about.
better visit on Facebook because
Yes.
we don't know what we're talking about. But up next,
we have sports.
we have
JD's
sports.
Rockin'
JD's
Sports.
Rockin' Sports. So
And there's a lot
How
of other.
close are we to the football season now, by the way?
I saw yesterday 45 days till football
preseason.
And you know what?
Preseason.
I am so excited about this. Like, this is a first for me. Like, I'm actually excited about football.
I'm so
Rob
excited.
Rob is crying in the corner over here.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone got you excited about college football.
Yes.
Just saying.
Football is really quite fascinating.
It is.
It's very strategic. It's not just a bunch of guys out there. They have.
Oh no! It's absolutely a bunch of guys going out there going. Ooh, ooh.
Are they kids?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
they have a huge turkey drumstick in one hand and some bimbo's hair in the other, and they're running along the football field.
No, there's a plan in place, and there's like strategy, and
All right. Well, if
it's
you
really
wanna,
exciting.
if you want to learn about sports and hear some awesome music while you're at it, stay tuned. JD's
All
Rockin'
right.
Sports up next.
This is No Limits Radio. We'll see you next week.